So what is the port's perspective on how we can support a demonstration zone? Excellent. So what I just wanted to quickly remind us of was really, Martin, how long we have been working effectively on the tidal energy scheme, which began for us really in conversations with Richard Eyre back in 1999. And it's taken, therefore, approximately 15 years, let's say, to get from the idea to getting the device into the water over Christmas. So, well done. Absolutely fantastic. But that is the sort of level of sort of commitment and working. And what we did was essentially help them identify areas and support them as they went through some of the initial trials in the Haven. And what you have all around the Haven is you've got a whole range of areas of all sorts of depths and current flows that provide the opportunity. In Milford Haven, I mean, what you get to need as you get into your sort of quarter scale and full scale device testing is an area that can accommodate all of the sort of fabrication and lifting in and lifting out type processes that you have to go through. And here you see all of the construction process going on in relation to the tidal energy. And then comes that magic moment, which hasn't come yet. This is accurate. Oh yeah, okay. There you go. Of the device being put into the water. Obviously, one of the reasons tidal energy, I think, worked with Milford Haven, with the Port of Pembroke in particular, was the range of support they effectively had available to them in the supply chain. And that is not just the sort of manufacturing skills that you need, which are obviously very high skill. We have a manufacturing base that's been serving the refineries for a very long period of time, but also the contribution those businesses were able to make to the design of the device, which included a lot of the skills at Mainstay Marine. And the range of devices is vast. There is a vast array of devices, and they all have different weights, and they all have different lifting points. And if you ask me what's going to be the right mechanism for a port to be able to support the process of getting these things in and out of the water, I wouldn't know. Is it a slipway? Is it a berth? Is it something else? There is a vast array. But they all need this process of testing, dip testing, getting on to tank testing, testing at scale, simulation modeling, survivability, and they need environments in which to do that. So what we have at the Port of Pembroke is we have a complete range of different types of environment in which to do that. And some of those are located absolutely next to the facilities where the device can be fabricated, where it can be tweaked, where the engineers can have their design offices, and there is a range of skills and support in terms of organizations like Williams Marine for moving systems on barges out to site and so on. So one of the key features, I think, is this pickling pond, essentially a very controlled environment right next to all the fabrication halls. We have designated a number of sites throughout the Haven that have different characteristics. So here are a couple that are particularly good for testing wave devices. Further up the Haven, we have sheltered areas where we would expect to be able to carry out flow testing. And depending on the specifics of any device, we would engage with you to work out where the particular characteristic can best be tested, and then to go through the process of enabling that to happen. Leading on finally to the actual live test and generation site with Wave Hub off the coast of Pembrokeshire. We are a licensing authority as the port. We issue a Marine Works license for stuff that's going on inside our port limits. We also issue mooring licenses, and we do that all the time. And we had a number of examples over the past few months where, for the purposes of testing a device in situ, we were able to deal by ourselves with the licensing issue. And we have discussions all the time about our licenses with NRW. We work out what is going to be required in terms of licensing, what are going to be the requirements in terms of an appropriate assessment, and we work very closely in collaboration with them. But two of the key licenses we are essentially the issuer for, and we use those skills and that long track record of working with NRW to help the wave device or tidal device developer to go through that consenting process during all of these testing phases. Pembroke Port is quite a large site. Live projects at the moment, obviously, we've talked about Tidal Energy. We've just signed a memorandum of understanding with Marine Power Systems. Absolutely fantastic photograph, look just like the Queen here signing away the colonies, or Brexit. No, I didn't mention that. I'm not mentioning Brexit today. We just signed a memorandum of understanding. Wavetricity, we've just done a lot of work with in relation to exactly what I've talked about, getting a proposal license for testing in the waterway. Repetitive energy. Just to talk about other types of energy, as you know, we are probably a developer of solar schemes. This is actually also the handling of refuse-derived fuel from the local area to be shipped out. Milford Haven last year achieved carbon neutrality. Jonathan's going to tell me whether we are this year as well. We think so. Just a bit of maths has got to go on to prove the point, but it's ongoing. What are we proposing to do to develop our capacity for being the base for this fantastic marine renewable energy industry going forward? That, as you can see, is the existing layout of the site. You've got the berth operations where the tidal energy device was loaded out to the water at Gate 1, and the scope for building. We've got slipways there in Gate 4, and a lot of capacity for housing engineering businesses. Leadwoods, you heard earlier, had a site inside the port. We're in one of the Sunderland sheds on the left. We've got Mainstay Marine just to the right of the ferry terminal there, and other businesses besides. Our experience in the port, going back over time to do with the refining and fuel industry, is the work going on in terms of fabrication of really quite large structures. So here are just a few examples of the products where we have been engaged in helping fabricators build their devices and then move them to a berth, because they need to have the berth access to get their devices or these components off to where they're going to be installed. That is our expertise. But working off a berth, as you can see, involves quite a lot of sort of cranes and heavy cranes, and our vision is really about creating superb facilities for the future that not only allow large-scale fabrication in the port, because all of these industries we want to turn into a manufacturing industry with a base in Wales, centred in a cluster where there are lots of businesses around who are all contributing to the success of that industry and drawing on it, and hopefully in a way where they own and control their own intellectual property, but also having many flexible ways to get devices in and out of the water. So our plan involves, largely speaking, rebuilding a lot of very high bay, modern, effective fabrication halls in the Gate 4 area, with a roadway access to take these things on a 15-metre wide corridor for final assembly and shipping out at the quay, where the tidal energy device was moved to. And also, we think that there is a need for some additional device to enable very large objects to be moved either directly into the water or onto barges. And so our proposal is that we're going to construct a large boat hoist in the Gate 4 area that will be multi-purpose. We have a boat building industry, we're looking to have a tidal energy industry, and I think a device of that nature would serve the industry very well. So this is a boat hoist that is got a lifting capacity of 1,200 tons. Standard piece of technology. You can see the little people just by the wheels of it, bringing onto shore very quickly from the water a boat, so that work can be done on it, but equally well in relation to odd-shaped devices. So we are excited about this industry. In conclusion, I think that a fantastic amount of work has been done over the past 2 or 3 years, particularly in relation to the development of technology. You know, we definitely want to see Pembroke Port being at the centre of it and being a location that is a cluster of excellence of fabrication and design and engineering right on the doorstep of both the demonstration zone and all of the consented areas around the coast of Pembrokeshire. Now it's time for a beer.